Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be solving the Data Lemur user's third transaction question, right? This is an Uber SQL interview question, right? So let's get right into it, right? So first of all, the question is asking, assume you are given a table below on Uber transaction made by users. Write a query to obtain the third transaction of every user. Output the user ID, spend, and transaction date. This is basically saying they're trying to get every user's third transaction order, right? This is a pretty simple question. So first of all, we're gonna run this table right here to see what we're working with. And if you can look down here, we're only gonna be working with one table. We have the table example input, right? Same thing right here, and the output of how it's supposed to look like. For those who are not familiar with Data Lemur questions, so in this table we can see we have a user ID, what they spend, and the date that they spend that dollar amount or whatever on, right? And we have it right here. So we are going to be using a window function to solve this, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to do that. So first of all, let's start with select user ID. As mentioned right here, I'll put the user ID, spend, and transaction date, right? So user ID, spend, and transaction date. All right, I'm gonna say from transactions. All right, let's get rid of this. All right, now I'm gonna run the table again, just so I can make everything make more sense. So see, it's the same thing, nothing really changed. All right, so now we have to use a Windows function to find the third transaction of every user, right? So we're gonna use the rank, right? And we're going to go over all the data on the table. I'm going to partition by user ID. I'm going to order by the transaction date to find out the transaction date order, right? I'm gonna leave it in ascending order. I'm gonna name this as ranks. So we're going to run this, right? I'll show you guys the output. All right, so what we have here, we have the user, the spend, and transaction date, and we have the rank right here. So this rank, which is right here, it's all it's doing is basically ranking all this data by partitioning by the user, right? So if you can see right here, it's ranked by 1, 2, 3. Then move on to the next user, 1, 2, 3. The next user, right? That's what the partition by is basically doing. I'll create a video in the future to go more over Windows function, right? So I can go more depth into it. And then the order by is essentially just ordering the transaction date by ascending order, right? We have January 8th, January 10th, and February 5th, right? In ascending order, right? So the question asks the third transaction of every user. So for that, we're going to use a CTE. So we're going to say with CTE as, I'm just going to name it CTE because, right? And then we're going to click select. We're going to type select user ID. This is what we want. We want spend and the transaction date. And we're going to type from CTE, right? From CTE. And then we're going to say where ranks equal to 3, which is the third transaction, right? I'm going to click run code. And this basically gives me the third transaction of every user, right? I'm going to click submit and accept it, right? This is a pretty simple question, guys. As long as you know Windows function, this should be not hard at all to solve. If you guys do have any questions, please leave it down in the comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you guys made it this far, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching and Happy New Year's and Merry Christmas.